Welcome back. In this session we're actually going to start using our piece of aluminum foil, our thick gauge aluminum foil, to create our repousse. In our last session we looked at how to make a drawing for our architectural repousse, and in this session you're going to need a stylus to start working your aluminum foil. You'll need a 5x7 sheet of aluminum foil, which will look something like this. It's a 38 gauge aluminum foil. You're going to need a piece of masking tape to tape on your piece of paper to your aluminum foil. So I'm going to do that right here. Just going to take this and tape it onto the front and kind of bend it around the back. So you can see that it's kind of bending around the back, and I'm just going to pinch that and make sure it's on there. You might need one or two pieces depending on how thick it is. This one's kind of thin. I'll have thicker ones out in class. And you want to tape it on like this just at the top. Don't tape it on all the way around. Just tape it at the top so that your picture doesn't slide around, but you can lift it up like a hinge so that you can double check your work and make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. All right. And your last supply you're going to need is a piece of felt. Doesn't matter what color it is, but a piece of felt like this, so that as you're pushing with your pointy ended tool here, the metal can sink into the felt. Okay, so looking back at our first session, we talked about form and that we're making a three-dimensional surface, right? If I take this old one here, this old one that I made, you can see on one side this piece here is sticking out. Okay, but if I turn it around, that piece is pushed in. All right, so there's the three-dimensional pushing up and pushing in at the same time. So to get started, you're going to use your drawing, and you're just going to take your stylus, should have one pointy end and one flat or rounded end, and you're just going to start tracing your drawing. All right, so I'm just going to gently trace my drawing like this. I'm just going to trace the main lines and then show you what it looks like. This is why it is essential to have a really nice drawing to start out with, so that as you're copying it or tracing over your own work, you don't have to think. You don't have to say, oh, maybe I want to change this, or oh, maybe I want to change that. You can just look at it and just trace it and know it looks nice. So here we go. If I lift this up, you can already see that little minaret in here. All right, and you can kind of see how the lines are pushed in. Once we get the whole drawing traced on, we'll move on to pushing a little harder and showing you the technique of moving the metal. So in this session, I'm just going to finish tracing. Mr. Lundgren, you can fast forward and then show the second video. This is just me tracing. Okay, so that kind of concludes the end of the session. And here, if I double check, whoops, I forgot to do this dome here. And I forgot to do these windows. So double check before you're done and make sure you've done all your windows, all your doors, everything that you think you need. And there we go. That looks more finished. Nice. All right. So when you're done, your repousse should just be a nice faint line, something like that, so that we can work on the next part of it, which is actually moving the foil.